Fifth grade, chapter 2, lesson 7, interpret the remainder, unlock the problem. Scott and his family went to hike a trail that is 1,365 miles long. They will hike equal parts of the trail on 12 different hiking trips. How many miles will Scott's family hike on each trip? So they want us to circle the dividend you will use to solve the division problem. So what's the dividend we're going to use? 1,365 miles. Underline the divisor you will use to solve the division problem. 12. Okay? When you solve a division problem with a remainder, the way you interpret the remainder depends on the situation and the question. Sometimes you need to use both the quotient and the remainder. You can do that by writing the remainder as a fraction. Write the remainder as a fraction. So first, divide the quotient by the remainder. Okay? Then decide how to use the quotient and remainder to answer the question. So we're going to go ahead and do the division problem. So 12 goes into 13 one time. 1 times 12 is 12. 13 minus 12 is 1. Bring down the 12 into 16 is 1 times 12 is 12. 16 minus 12 is 4. Bring down the 5. Or 12 into 45. 3 times, right? 3 times 12 is 36. What do you have left over? 9. So 113 remainder. 9. Oh, so 9. The blank represents the number of trips Scott and his family plan to take. So the divisor, the dividend, or the quotient? The divisor, right? They're planning on taking 12 different trips. So the divisor. The blank represents the whole number part of the number of miles Scott and his family will hike each trip. The quotient, right? So that is this part, the 113, right? The blank represents the number of miles left over. Remainder. So that was 9, right? The remainder represents 9 miles, which can also be divided into 12 parts and written as a fraction. So basically, we can't say they would go 113 miles with 9 left over, right? Okay. Can miles be used as half a mile, a quarter of a mile, like 1/4, 1/3? Yes. Okay. So depending on what your parts are, you can make those into fractions, right? Okay. So if you need to make them into fractions, you put the remainder over the divisor. So we would write 9 over 12, which is also equal to what number goes into 9 and 12? 3. That's our highest number that can go into 9 and 12, right? Okay. So how many times does 3 go into 9? 3 times. How many times does 3 go into 12? 4 times. So that's simplified, right? Okay. So write the quotient with the remainder written as the fraction in simplest form. So we already did that. So that was 3/4. So Scott and his family will hike how many miles each? Well, we got 3/4, but we need to go back and do our whole number. So 113 and 3/4 mile each trip. So in that case, we made our remainder into a fraction. Okay. Now we have a couple other ways that can be done. Another way, use only the quotient. The segment of the Appalachian Trail that runs through Pennsylvania is 232 miles long. Scott and his family want to hike 9 miles each day on the trail. How many days will they hike exactly 9 miles? So first they want us to divide to find the quotient and the remainder. Okay, so 9 goes into 23 how many times? Twice. 9 times 2 is 18. 23 minus 18 is 5. Bring down the 2. How many times does 9 go into 52 without going over? 5 times. So 5 times 9 is 45. 52 minus 45 is 7. So remainder 7. Since the remainder shows that there are not enough miles left for another 9-mile day, it is not used for the answer. So they want to know, so they will hike exactly 9 miles on each of how many days? 25 days. They wanted to know how many days you would walk or hike 9 full miles. So we wouldn't use that remainder, right? Okay. Here's another way. What is the total number of days that Scott will need to hike his 232 miles? Since he had 7 remaining miles, how many days will he have to get all of those 232 miles in? 26 days. Because he wants to do the full 232, we can't just leave those 7 off, right? Okay. And then B, use the remainder as an answer. If Scott hikes 9 miles each day, except the last day, how many miles will he hike on the last day? So remember, our remainder was 7. So Scott will hike 7 miles on the last day. So when you guys do these today, you're going to have to pay really close attention to what they want. And you're going to have to decide if they want you to use a fraction, so use your remainder as a fraction. If they want you just to drop the remainder and give the quotient, okay? Or if you're going to have to go up 1 of your whole quotient, okay? Or if they just want the remainder as the answer. So you're going to have to decide from those 4 things what they want, okay? All right, try this. A sporting goods store is going to ship 1,252 sleeping bags. Each shipping carton can hold 8 sleeping bags. How many cartons are needed to ship all the sleeping bags? So they said 8 goes into 12 once. 8 times 1 is 8. 12 minus 8 is 4. They brought down the 5. How many times does 8 go into 45? 5 times. 8 times 5 is 40. 45 minus 40 is 5. So then they brought down the 2. 8 goes into 52. 6 times. 8 times 6 is 48. 52 minus 48 is 4. So 156, remainder 4. So since there are how many sleeping bags left over? 4 sleeping bags left over. How many total cartons will they need? 157, because they don't want to just leave those 4 out and not ship them, right? Share and show. Interpret the remainder to solve. Erica and Bradley want to hike the Big Cypress Trail. They will hike a total of 75 miles. If Erica and Bradley plan to hike for 12 days, how many miles will they hike each day? So first of all, we need to divide, right? Okay, and then we're going to decide if we're using the quotient, the remainder. We're going to use the quotient, the remainder, go up 1, or do a fraction, right? Okay, so 12 goes into 75 how many times? 6 times, right? What is 6 times 12? 72. 75 minus 72 is? So we'd have 6, remainder 3. Okay? So then they want to know how many miles they will hike each day. So we are talking about, so they did a total of 75 miles, right? They wanted to hike for 12 days, and then they want to know how many miles each day it will take them. So, since we're doing miles, what are we going to use? A fraction, right? Because fractions can be used with miles, right? For distance, okay? So we would have 6, and then we said we do what? Put the remainder over the divisor. So we have 3 over 12, which is that simplified. No. So you rewrite 6, and then what number goes into both 3 and 12? 3. 3 goes into 3 once. 3 goes into 12 4 times. So it'd be 6 1/4 miles. What if Erica and Bradley want to hike 14 miles each day? How many days will they hike exactly 14 miles? So what do we need to do here, guys? Okay, so 75 divided by 14. So first of all, we need to circle the 14 miles, right? And then how many days will it take for them to hike that? So we would take 75 divided by 14. How many times does 14 go into 75? Five times 4 is 20, so I put a 0, mentally carry my 2. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 2 is 7. So 75 minus 70 is 5. So 5 remainder 5. So how many days would they hike exactly 14 miles? 5 days. Now, if they wanted to get all their miles in, then it would take 6 days. But they only want to know how many days they would hike exactly 14 miles. Dylan's hiking club is planning to stay overnight at a camping lodge. Each large room can hold 15 hikers. There are 154 hikers. How many rooms will they need? So what do we need to circle? 15 hikers. 154 hikers, and then how many rooms will they need, right? So what am I going to do? 154 divided by 15. Okay, 15 goes into 15 once. 1 times 15 is 15. Bring down the 4. 15 into 4 is 0. 0 times 15 is 0. 4 minus 0 is 4. So 10 remainder 4. So how many rooms total do they need? Are we going to use the quotient, the remainder, go up 1, or use a fraction? Go up 1, because you need for sure 10 rooms, right? But then you would have 4 people. Where are they going to sleep? In their car, right? Okay, so we don't want them sleeping in their car. We want them to have a room, right? So how many rooms total would they need? 11 rooms. Okay, and then on your own, you would do information, show your work, all that kind of good stuff, right? Maureen has 243 ounces of trail mix. She puts an equal number of ounces in each of 15 bags. How many ounces of trail mix does Maureen have left over? What do you need to find? The number of ounces of trail mix Maureen has left over. Letter B, how will you use division to find how many ounces of trail mix are left over? We will divide 243 by 15 and then use the remainder to get our answer. So we took 243 divided by 15, and we got 16 remainder 3. So complete the synthesis. Maureen has 243 ounces of trail mix. She puts an equal number in each of 15 bags. Each bag has 16 ounces. Maureen has 3 ounces of trail mix left over, and then we filled in our bubble. Number 9, Mr. Field wants to give each of his 72 campers a certificate for completing an obstacle course. If there are 16 certificates in one package, how many packages will Mr. Field need? So we circled our information, underlined what we were looking for, and then we picked 5 because we took 72 divided by 16, which was 4 remainder 8, and you needed 5 total packages to do all of the certificates. Number 10, James has 884 feet of rope. There are 12 teams of hikers. If James gives an equal amount of rope to each team, how much rope will each team receive? So we circled the information we needed, underlined what we were looking for, and then we took 884 divided by 12, got 73 remainder 8, and then we knew we were talking about distance or length. So we went ahead and made it in fraction form, got 73 and 8/12, but reduced it to 73 and 2/3.